Всем привет от Оксаны
из Алабамы.
Итак, друзья, сегодня у нас на канале в гостях Леора
Hood.
Леора Худ продает новые дома от компании Adams. And I'm gonna teach you how to say hi in Russian. That would be привет. Привет. А сегодня я хочу задать вопрос своей приятельнице Леоре Худ о насекомых. Леора, first of all, say hi to subscribers in English.
Hi. Hi.
So, you used to live in California,
yes.
And right now you're living in Alabama.
Right.
And my subscribers ask me, what about snakes or spiders or whatever, like here in Alabama. Please tell us any interesting stories you have to share.
Okay, I can do that. And I was telling Oksana about, I know about spiders and I know about snakes. The reason why when she said it, I said, it's funny you asked me about that. I spent 3 days in the hospital because of being bit by a black widow spider in my sleep. And it bit me right up underneath my arm and my shoulder here. And how I got bit is I was doing spring cleaning. And I decided that I still had my bedroom in disarray. My husband had come to Alabama to visit his mom and dad, and I wanted to get the home completely spring cleaned and get the stuff out. So I had stuff all over. I decided to sleep on the floor at my home. And what happened is that a spider had crawled on my side and bit me in the middle of the night. And didn't know I got bit or anything like that. I just got deathly ill. I was so ill that I called my daughter. I actually thought I was dying. My daughter comes and picks me up, and we lived out in the country a little bit, out in California. We didn't live in the city. We lived in, they call it horse country. Yeah, because people have horses, and you have a couple acres, 2-3 acres and that. But anyway, she comes and gets me, and she didn't know where the hospital was. And so she's driving, and she's crying because she sees how sick I am. I'm worried because I'm so sick. And they take me to the emergency room. They don't know what's wrong with me. Can't find anything. And they only
but
had
what
antidotes.
Symptoms? Tell us about the symptoms.
Oh, you're just moving. You can't stop moving. You're up and down. You're sick. You just don't feel good. You feel your blood pressure. Like, for example, they tested my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was the high, I think, was like 58, and the low was like 47 or something like that. And the nurse, they were fighting over, they only had 2 antidotes at the hospital. You have to get a shot, an antidote for black widow spiders bites. And they were fighting, they only had the 2, and they didn't want to waste it on me because previously that day, because they didn't see a bite on me, they couldn't find it. And because it was up underneath my armpit. And so they were arguing whether to use it or not. And I wanted to die, literally, because I was I was just really bad. So as soon as they gave me the shot, it was not even 5 minutes later, it was, I was all right. It stopped, and it's like I'm dancing on the table, and it was nutso. My daughter took me to the closest hospital. They transported me to a bigger hospital in Riverside. The next day by ambulance. I ended up spending 3 days in the hospital, making sure that they had all the antidote in me, all the medicine in me, and they finally sent me home. And so when I got home, a little girl that was staying with us, my daughter's best friend, Paula, was real cute because she had the pillow on the floor and the blanket, and she found the black widow spider laying there dead. Because what happens is that when a black widow spider bites you, they die.
Like bees.
It's like a kiss of death. And so she had the black widow in a little baggie on my pillowcase as a gift to me to show me that she found a spider. That I was lucky enough to be bitten by a black widow spider. The day I came out of the hospital, the Press Enterprise is the newspaper out in Riverside. I believe it's Press Enterprise. They had an article on the front page where a lady in the next town over from where I lived was bit by a spider. They had moved into a used house, a new house to them. She was cleaning out the barn in that, and apparently she got bit by something, didn't know what it was, and she do anything about it. She got a little bit sick in that. Well, it was a brown recluse. A brown recluse spider bit her, and 3 days later, she ends up going to Loma Linda University Hospital. They didn't know what it was because it causes your muscle or tissues to rot away. And so what ended up happening to this woman, and I found out later because I followed up on it, but the brown recluse, it eats out your muscle or cells and stuff like that. She ended up having amputations because it was so bad, and she didn't get treated right away, and where she lost her arms and she lost her legs, and it was really bad. So the one thing about spider bites is that I was lucky that a black widow bit me. I was lucky I got sick so fast and I acted so fast. The biggest thing is that if you're around here in Alabama or even out in California, if you're getting wood out of a wood pile in order to put on a fire because of a fireplace or a campfire or something like that, make sure that you hit the wood with something, or you pick it up and you shake it, but you tap it.
Or wear gloves.
Wear gloves. You wear the gloves, yes, but you still, it can get off, it can jump on you. And I've been at a public bathroom, for example, here in Alabama, and a public bathroom at the park. I was at a public bathroom. I looked down, and there's a brown recluse, and I'm on the toilet going to the restroom, and I'm looking at this brown recluse, and I'm watching it over in the corner.
And he's watching you on the toilet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he was watching me, but I'm watching him, what he's doing, because they look like a violin. The brown recluse, you know, the way that they're, how they're shaped, it's like a violin type of thing.
Sweet home Alabama! Woo!
I've been here now 30 years, but I've seen 4 brown recluses since I've been in this state, and every one of them, you know, scared me. The one, as soon as I got done using the restroom and that, needless to say, I killed the brown recluse because I didn't want anybody else to be bit by it if they came into it, because I seen it. And I watched for spiders, and I never wanted to kill things. Spiders I will kill. The brown recluse, we have them both. I keep spray at my house and up underneath because I live rural. I live out in the country a little bit. And,
do you do anything like, do you pest services, pest control?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like,
that's
what do Americans do usually?
Yeah, what a lot of people do is that they spray. They have a pesticide like company that comes out, and they'll spray around the base of the house. What I learned, and I had an old guy tell me this up in Indiana that I lived, Mr. Williams, I lived next door to, with my first home I had. With that, the line that you use, the line baseball fields, and I don't know if you have baseball fields, and do they play baseball in Russia?
No.
Okay, all right, if you've ever seen an American baseball game, they have a first base, second base, third base, and they line the infield, they call it line, and they put lime, and it's Lime, I guess is how they spell it, and it's white powder. If you put the lime around your house, the base of your house, you won't have, it burns, you won't have ants, you won't have roaches, you won't have spiders. They don't cross over that. And so I used to go to the hardware store, and I'd put, because of Mr. Williams, I'd put the lime all around it, because my son was a baby and my daughter was 6 years old. And after he told me that, we used to always do it, and we did it a couple times a year.
So lime powder.
Lime powder. And you don't have, all right, California. The one thing I thought, I come from Northwest Indiana. It's right across, I was born in East Chicago, so that's how close I was to Chicago. But I was on the Indiana side. In Indiana, they have mosquitoes really bad in the summertime, a lot. And I hated mosquitoes. In fact, when we used to go to drive-in movies, in the old days, they used to have drive-in movies, we used to have these things, these little picks that you'd light it, and the odor would keep the mosquitoes away.
I have to tell them what is drive-in movies. It's like, это большое поле, на улице люди смотрят кино какое-то, пьют пиво, в общем, это как большая лужайка, или сидели в машине и смотрели.
Yeah, and so we'd light these things, and so we keep the mosquitoes away. Because you'd be like this, you'd be watching a movie, and you're hitting the mosquitoes to keep. And this thing kept the mosquitoes away, even on picnics and that. All right. So when I moved to California, there's two things that we never saw. No mosquitoes, because it's a hot, dry desert climate. Mosquitoes breed in standing water. So we had no mosquitoes. I was out there for 12 years. And no lightning bugs. They don't have lightning bugs. You know what a lightning bug is?
Yes, we have it near our house. We have a little lake and we have lightning bugs.
Yeah, all right. Well,
Светлячки.
yeah, so they had no lightning bugs and no mosquitoes. And I didn't think that my kids, and then the other thing in California that we didn't have for 12 years, you don't get lightning. Where lightning storms.
Like here in Alabama, we have lots of lightning.
Yeah, you have lightning storms in northwest Indiana. They have lightning and thunderstorms. In California, I don't think my kids ever seen lightning. I don't remember ever seeing it, unless you're up in the mountains. We lived in Riverside, and it's a semi-arid. We're at the base of the mountains, in the valley there, but never seen any lightning at all. Didn't even hear thunder. Nothing.
Wow.
So that's a little bit different. It's a whole lot different in Alabama. Alabama, we have lightning, we have thunder. And in South Alabama, you have to deal with the hurricanes. And I've been through 3 hurricanes since I've been here, or storms because of hurricanes, and pretty bad. I lived through, I don't know how many earthquakes in California, and aftershocks and that. And then up in Indiana and coming across the Midwest of the United States, they deal with tornadoes, so we prepare ahead of time.
Thank you so much. This was very interesting about our area and all the details.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to say goodbye in Russian. That would be «До свидания».
До свидания.
Заряжаем
Bye-bye.
вас на хорошее
Bye-bye.
настроение. Пока.
All right, bye-bye.